I think I'm actually gonna send you Give me 1 sec. Music down. Alright, I think that should be fine. Let me know. I'm gonna just hurry up. This is Baron, hello. I see. Just having some problems tweeting it out. I want this to be kind of a Q&A too, while I do it. It might even just have to wait for the month. It depends on how many people come through. It probably makes more sense to do it tomorrow. I don't know. My webcam is really dark than it needs to be, so just like, sorry about that, I need to get I think I actually need a point light or something. I guess I'll just start anyway, it was more about getting the intro out, so so I didn't do anything for season. I did one all the way up to now, but I skipped doing one for season 8. Just let me double check the thing. Yeah, from the looks of it, I think there was a big So I forgot to do one for the balancing boost, I think. Let me double check. I thought I did one for the, it's looking like the last one I did. Yeah, so I skipped doing season, let me double check real quick. Look at my history. Season 7. I forgot to do one for season 8 because that was where some of the balancing would happen. Okay, call this my season 8. Dude, damn, I thought I did one. So we're gonna get the numbers. Yeah, I think I missed that. Wow. Alright. I guess consider this season 8, season 9, whatever you wanna call it. Yeah, I'm gonna go completely down the line and my reasoning for them. I guess I'll start with Brave. So last season, I thought I still think this, by the way. So I thought Jaina had a slight advantage to Grave. He would, if you're trading Fireball, she's usually in the better position, recovery-wise, and she can always threaten to just DP for it. Jaina has really good ways to get around wind. But she has good air options to just get around the wind, like fireballing. I mean, if you're cornered, it's really hard for you no matter who you are. But like in neutral, Grave doesn't just win neutral just by winding against Jaina. And I think Grave has a harder time dealing with Jaina's air sweeper, which is the equivalent, I would say. Grave does get the DP with super against Jaina Fireball. There is that. I feel like Grave is slightly weak to die kicks here. Now, especially now since the nerf a couple seasons ago. I still think this is for advantage. Like, I'm gonna leave that the same. 6-4, Jaina favor. Midori, last season, slight advantage to Grave, even. Yeah, even after nerf, I thought it was probably good for Grave. I don't know, honestly. I think meta-wise Grave has been less and less play, even though he's solid. What can I say? Midori, he can stop, even if you have good reactions as Midori to jump the fireballs on startup. Grave can do Fat Cloud. So like that's one difference between him and the others. Midori gets to jump against Geiger as soon as he shoots that fireball. You don't get to do that at Grave. Versus Grave. So let me see something. I think this is going to be the same. I don't think this is that much play advantage to the Grave very quickly. Tetsky. Yeah, I thought he lost that. I think all the owners just lose to Tetsky, but he's not that popular. So the reason I put this as 4 last time, her air option, she can make people double jet swing and if I air her. She has literally like 3 or 4 ways to kill people just for drawing the fireball on her option. Like she can do 4 if she really wants, but she commonly gets 3 on reaction, 2 degree on reaction against the fireball. So there's that. Win is surprisingly decent against Tetsky, even if she has the air option, I guess. But yeah, Slate to Tetsky, 6-4. Yeah, Slate to Tetsky. I'll leave that the same. A lot of this is gonna wind up being the same, honestly. I almost think I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm still gonna go over it. I'm still gonna. Let's see. Let's talk about Rook. We're gonna talk about Rook. Because Rook is a wild card. He's a grappler, but he's a wild card. Let me see. So last season, I thought this was Greaves' advantage, like pretty major, relatively major advantage. I haven't actually played the matchup in a while. I think during this time, I was playing like every character a lot, but mostly I just play the fun characters right now. But I still can play them myself. This might not be as bad as I thought it was before. Because Rook has ways to mess with reactions against everybody, except maybe Arg. Arg just kind of doesn't care how he wants to get him. Hello. Let me see. So last season, this was 6.5. It's probably a little better, honestly, than I thought. I think I might. I personally don't like how Rook has them. Like you have to force them with situations where you have to take damage. I feel like to guess on situations where you have to take damage, and then he gets a snowball off of that, and I personally don't like to play that way. So, but I think because he has the health, you can do it. Let me see something. I don't think this is a fan. I think, like I said, I think I underrated Rook before. Tentatively, I'm gonna say 6. The gray is still broken. Like the main difference, I thought the slight advantage to the gray, relatively slight. Ghost is a lot less annoying for Greaves. Like that alone is a big deal. The counter doesn't matter. The counter doesn't matter. The gray still gets the JB. Oh yeah, I don't think the gray gets the JB Fat Cloud on reaction. I gotta double check on that actually. Let me see something. So tentatively, this really hasn't changed that much in the series. Let's say like 4.5 or because Ghost is significant. He can't throw long Ghost anymore. The Brave versus Val. I'm gonna be here for a while, aren't I? Yeah, I thought this was 5.5 before. It's like the same now, like literally Val and Guitar. Really, in theory, I don't think Val should be losing to Zoner in this game. Except Geiger. Geiger, she can beat Geiger, but I think it's a lot to ask to be happening. Because eventually she has to get in the forward A range. And he can make her take some unreactable damage. So Val is guessing when she tries a rainbow great fireball. That's the reason why I had this at 5. Like, because Val against actually it's not as bad because Jaina can almost always, if it's a reaction rainbow over a fireball, he can almost always Dragon Puncher. Geiger. On reaction, if their reactions are early enough, he can't do anything. He actually has to take it. That's why I think Val in theory can beat Zonas, but like in practice, I think it's super hard. I'm gonna leave that as is. Grave Geiger. I always thought that Geiger was just over other Zoners. I'm gonna leave that the same reason. Grave can't trade fireballs with Geiger positively. As soon as Geiger gets super, he has to stop, or he has to like be tricky about it. He only gets to, he really only would get to throw fireballs if Geiger with something. Yeah, other than that, I think slight advantage, at least slight advantage to Geiger. I usually never lose the Grave to Geiger. That could be worse. Let me see. Lum? Oh. This is a lot better than I thought before, actually. Even though it's not that bad before. Lum actually has really good ways to get around Grave Fireball. Wind messes up the field. Like, if Lum has a field set up, Wind messes that up, and then he could take a lot of chips because of Bomb. But other than that, Lum has good, he has mind games he can play, like outside of, at mid-range. When he gets around Fireballs, he can JC, and then like randomly threaten going over Fireball. Although Grave has delay, Fat Cloud, so. But I don't think it's that bad. It's probably closer to 5 than I thought before. I think, slight edge to Grave because, Wind. 5.5. Grave Arg. What did I say about this before? I thought it was, yeah, Grave Favor. Grave Wind is formidable. It's always formidable, honestly, almost always. But I think Arg has good ways to get around it. Or challenge it, actually. I've been, a lot of the times when Grave uses Wind on Arg are wasting it now. Like, if they didn't, if I had the frames to have if they're using it and I got River out or something, I'm usually gonna trade, blow for blow during that, Wind sequence. Or make them, at least give them a lot to think about, so. I think that's probably, honestly, I think, Arg is kinda crazy right now, so I wanna say, I like this as Arg. I'm gonna say 4.5 now. This is easy. Oh yeah, and Arg is gonna be really different from last time too. I feel like I should start with the characters I think I have the most different opinions about now. Quint's Grave, a lot better for Grave now. Quint's doesn't bully the zoners anymore as much. Like he just hit the reflector, he can still turtle around it, but they have way better ways of far punishing him for it. So this isn't anywhere near as that was just terrible before down the line if you guys know. So I think this is like 4. At least. Maybe not even. Because I feel like I had to engage a lot more with Grave than before, so it's like 4 or 4.5. Really hard to say. Oni 5. This is one of my most changed opinions too. I don't think he loses to the zoners anymore. Let's say I want to say even saying I think 6 is actually realistic, like for Oni right now. Because he has good weights around to like just avoid them right now. It's like even during Wind, unless he's near the corner, it gets harder. But he can really wait a lot of the time versus them and just get super and then just shut them down, I think. And then his ground B, you have to play completely around ground B, and he has a lot of ways to screw with you. Especially if you're not he doesn't have to do it in a way that gets the end lag of it punished, and he can make you guess on whether how you want to punish him. It's still his disadvantage technically, but he has plays he can make to get him damage. So. Yeah. Yep, I think it's only advantage. noticeable advantage now. So Jaina, what did I say about this weapon? Yeah, 6-4. This didn't change. Jaina Midori. What do I think about it? Midori can't jump Jaina Fireball on reaction and get rewarded for it necessarily because delay Fireball. She can hold it a little bit. She can always threaten that. Jump B is not that good against, like, almost never good to use. Neutral Jump A is a pretty relatively big liability. Not only because the forward A or ground C, but he can make him take a mix up coming down. Grab, she can grab him. She can threaten grab, she can threaten poke. Her grab is just enough range to grab him, and that'll stop any poke that he tries to do. Like every poke that he tries to do. He has a Yomi, and then when you have to start Yomi, you start getting opened up with poking. So yeah, this is like the same. 6. Yep. Pesky. Yeah. I put this as 5. Realistically, it probably is like even, honestly. I think Pesky has more ways to make the matchup hard for Jaina than Jaina does. 4.5 if you technically loses the Pesky on paper. Like not even with unpracticed stuff. I think he will practice a little play if he loses. He should be losing. Jaina Roach. This is just terrible. But also, yeah, this match is always just like notoriously bad for for Rook. It's like where do I have it down? Yeah, like I said before, I did underrate it because if you're willing to make the risk, then like he can get started and like start snowballing. At least 6.5. At least. Degrade, Jaina. This was crazy. This was even with this was 5, I thought, in my opinion, back then, even when you can spam to it. Now that he can't, I don't know. I still don't think this is terrible. He can GB Jaina ground B when reaction still. You didn't really need to before, but now you really want to, and if he doesn't get as good mind games with delay error against him as he does in other matchups with characters that can their jump options, or they can vary their jump options. This gotta be like so even it. I don't know. I want to say that the Ghost could be impacting matchup because you can't use it. It was literally something you can throw out anytime you want to just about and get results from it. He doesn't have that anymore. So not entirely proven, but could it still be even? Like considering jump B for the gray. I think that's going to be seeing a lot more use. It already is seeing a lot more use. People are realizing. Jaina's out. 5-5. Yeah, like the same. Jaina has good. Jaina can mind game with the delay fireball to avoid reaction rainbow, and even then, Jaina can almost never do a bad one in the first place. because she can Dragon Punch. She doesn't, she has unconditional fast Dragon Punch. Like, Geiger can't throw a Fireball and always get to Dragon Punch them for a Flash Gear, but Jaina basically can. The only time that she gets hit is if they do preemptive Rainbow to try and go through it. And Valerie jumping Fireball is not that good because Valerie's jump arc and delay Fireball. So. But Valerie's neutral in this. She can actually like play really lame. It's hard for Jaina to punish her getting around Fireball at farther ranges. And Jaina, and then if Jaina wants to challenge her, like it's hard to give her something to really care about. And then Val gets super, so Val gets super. She can just go through Fireball. But all things considered, I don't think that's a losing for either. That's like the same. Geiger, Jaina. Yeah. In theory, Jaina should be winning this. Jaina can win this. Like advantage-wise, I think he can win this. More than he can if you have good enough reactions to DP fire. Like you should be. It's expected that you're DPing his Fireball already. I'm saying like if you can DP like all the time, then like yeah, this is like at least slight advantage for Jaina. I still want like this as a 5. They have a neither character. Jaina Jaina can overpower Geiger like trading fireballs, like but Geiger has good ways to just avoid them, and then he is super into Fireball. Like he loses super that and loses I thought this was slight disadvantage now. Tentatively, I really honestly think it's probably a little better. It's got to be like even. It's hard. It's hard when your main thing is taken away, like Fireball. But like, if Jaina plays at certain ranges, you could be beating him on reaction. So I don't know. I don't think it's impractical to be applying that either. So I'm gonna leave that out. Lum Jaina. This is the first matchup too. Kind of hard, pretty hard for Lum. Unlike versus Grave, Lum doesn't have good ways to stalemate Fireball. Like he has really, yeah, he has no good ways to stalemate Fireball. He can on reaction roll a lot of Jaina Fireball. Yeah. So if he's at close range, he can reaction to a release. It's kind of hard though. I think realistically, a lot of the times you're reacting to the Fireball. So I mean, Jaina can't DP him for rolling or anything. He can DS him, or she can throw him if he is farther out. But Lum can't jump around and stalemate the Fireball. Jaina has really good ways of clearing the field if he happens to get started. It's gotta be slow, at least. I don't feel any different. I don't know how different I feel about this matchup after playing one as much. Let's do a bit of painful now. Arg, Jaina. This is, yeah, another notorious. Aphrodite really hates this. I feel like it's a lot better. I feel better about this than I did when I first started playing on Gregor. But no, Jaina should be Arg. Jaina has good ways around river setup. If Arg, he can. I'm not gonna say randomly DC. He can DC Fireball, and then Arg gets cornered and he gets corner trap with jump C. And then she can also threaten to randomly beat you. She has good ways to give him stuff to think about on inside her if she wants. And then she can trade fireballs with him in a favorable way to her. Like a lot of the time if Art trades fireballs with somebody, he gets Pikachu or he gets Rain Around it. It doesn't really happen once in this matchup. Arg has problems getting if he trades unfavorably and then wants to avoid fireballs, he has problems doing that safely. She can react a lot of the time to how he gets around it, like jumping away or something. Yeah. I think this is still Jaina favorite. I don't think this is the worst matchup for her. I think that's still only good for Arg. So, realistically, yeah, this is probably still 6.5. Quince got better for every genre. Yeah, 3.5. It's definitely at least 0.5 now. Honestly, I think Jaina could make Quince take offense. That was something I was underrating before, I think, but not anymore. I think that's important. Yes, this is she's still, I think on paper she's still be losing, so yeah, Oni's, like I said before, Oni is a problem. I played with him the past 3 seasons. I hit rank 1 the past 3 seasons with him in the season. I understand now. Let me see. No. What am I doing? I think, Scorpion. No, Oni right now. I'll talk about it in the context of this movie. So, Jaina can DP him on reaction for D-Beam at most ranges. Like through Fireball. Like 2 Fireballs, 2 DP, 2 DP. And he can't do anything. Not enough time to parry if you do it early enough. But he has good other ways to get around it, like neutral jump, forward jump A. Sometimes, no, you can't really get away with JD. You can get away with J8, I think. It's really hard for her to be reaction DC to certain ranges of getting around it with J8. And then when he gets super, it's just a completely different ballgame. He can win the round usually off of 1 super because of the trade combo, like which happens. It's extremely practical DF trade into GB. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's at least like only advantage. I don't think it's I think Graves is worse off, but Jaina can punish him for getting around fireballs in certain ways. The Midori set C. Still, yeah, I don't think this is still even. They both have to take the entirety of each other's kits. They don't really have a way to get around it. And then Setsuki gets bonuses against Dragon. If you knock down Dragon, Midori can often lose right there. At least, like from one sequence, he can lose a lot. Like if he gets a knockdown on Dragon. Dragon helps a lot out in getting out of mixes. That's a trade-off. I think that's like still even. Rook, Midori. Yep, 6-4. I still think this is like 6-4. And as a matter of fact, I figured out new things about that I didn't know either. So Midori can poke very, very liberally with Rising GB. and falling JV. I knew about falling JV, but rising JV, Rook block doesn't. Rook's block, it can't low profile it. So he can low profile it anyway. But it's kind of a tough reaction to do. But it's definitely noticeable how much you get with that button in this matchup. I don't know how much it really affects it though. But he can do it pretty literally if you have. Rook can't super it. DB is not that useful. As a matter of fact, I remember DB just going under and then Midori getting a punishment there. Super doesn't help it. Yeah. Yeah, they're similar once they're similar in certain things. I'd say, like throw range. At least Dragon is more about using Tornado. Although I think I question the validity of it offline. Anyway, Midori the Gray. So this is definitely a different matchup now without armor, super armor. Dragon super armor. I think Dragon gets to get out of more mix-ups than he normally would, like those mix-ups. Degree just loses to God Spoke in general. Like he doesn't get nearly as much. He could really just like kind of stalemate and just play neutral without having to like really risk going or anything, and just play around taking advantage of the ghosts, or just keep getting ghosts and going for just poking ghosts and getting started. Yeah, so that much is he doesn't get to do it nearly as much. So, I thought this was a losing matchup before. It's not as bad. The Gray just universally is not as bad to fight anymore. Not nearly as bad. Like relatively speaking, I still think he's one of the best characters. But it's a lot more lenient to fight him. Where am I at? Oh, I just saw you comment that. I'm gonna get into Art Oni. That matchup has to get adjusted. Let me see him. Midori Val. What did I have that? Yeah. Slight edge to Val. I feel. How do I feel about this now? Yeah. So Midori doesn't have anything he gets to. Midori doesn't. Midori has the place to play here, and Val is just better at it. That's really what it comes down to. He has a good. He has good anti. He can randomly throw up parries and get mileage off of it, but Val. If Val is not that predictable, like you're just giving Val 2 damage in a mix-up situation for a lot of the time. So it's not the worst. It's really not the worst. I think she wins it. Midori Geiger, yeah, historically. So there's one thing about this matchup. Midori does get the jump against Geiger if he has early read on Fireball. Not early read. Midori can react and jump Geiger. Since the what was it? Season 5 had. Midori gets to jump against Geiger on reaction at mid range, but that's a dangerous range to be just waiting for jumping. So, because you have to block to avoid Foray, and he can be threatening that at any time. If your reactions are like And also, I really question the ability to react to Spiral versus Whisper. But on paper, Midori gets to jump whenever Geiger throws a fireball. But keeping yourself in that range without having to, keeping yourself in that range and being safe from 4-day is tough. And then Geiger can get sneaky and just do other things too. But if you can't do that, where Geiger plays at a farther out range, then it's just strictly losing. GC is usually useless. DG is usually useless. Neutral jump A, Midori shouldn't really be getting away with doing that to stalemate fireball. Although it kind of works out if you mix it up with JB. And Geiger tries to anti-air, then you get him. But like that's like, yeah, it's an average basically. That's a 4. Midori Lum, I feel like this could be worse for I'll fix the game. Hold on. I'm gonna fix the game. We're gonna attack that. I'm in the wrong category. Alright, okay. So, let me see something. Where was I? Yeah, Midori Lum. So, I thought... So before, I thought this was... I think my rationale for full point tonight was, Lum is like the zoner, is still essentially, and, Midori doesn't have safe ways to kill, to stop, to challenge like many Lums and stuff, or just Midori's playing Lum's game in this matchup. Like Lum, he needs to be stopping Lum from setting up. If Lum sets up, he doesn't have any way, like there's no getting around it. Dragon doesn't help him avoid the field setup. It gives him... Where does Dragon come in here? I don't even know how... I mean, Dragon, at any matchup, it gives you better pokes. And it can get you out of mix-up. So in this matchup, yeah, I just think Midori is playing Lum's game in this matchup, and honestly I think it's worse than originally. We gotta be like 4, pick 4. Same for Arg, I think. Midori's playing Arg game. So the thing about this matchup is I want to say it's almost similar to Geiger. Midori gets to jump fireballs on reaction, but not as much in this matchup because of poison. He can use poison to recover faster and beat back A. But also, yeah, if he wants to get into that range where he can even do it, it's kind of, well, it's a little less risky, cause for, Arg to check that space than it is for Geiger. I mean, no, it's more risky on third. Geiger will actually anti-air, like, him randomly jumping, like, poking with jump. If Arg guesses wrong on 4-day, in that space, then he can lose a round off of that. Well, not lose a round, he's getting knocked down. He's taking, 2 to 3, and possibly a knockdown. Arg is a wild card too. Like when he gets knocked down, it's not game over. It's almost never game over for Arg if he gets knocked down, except versus Oni. Because eventually Arg gets super, and then you have to think about what you're gonna do next. More like he's putting pressure on you to give him a good challenge for the super, and it's really hard to give. It's just Arg options once he gets super and he's knocked down are in some kind of disadvantage, like superior usually. What was I? So it's another case of Midori's playing Arg soon. And where did I think? I thought this was 5 before. Yeah, I don't think it's 5 anymore. I think it's. I personally don't have any issue in this matchup as Arg. I find I have issues as Midori in this matchup. So. Quick point. Yeah, I thought this match was terrible before because Dragon will wind up getting Dragon was more of a liability. It still is a liability, but before. Oh yeah, Dragon can punish Melon. You're right. But those are he shouldn't be doing those melons. He really shouldn't be doing those melons if he's getting punished there for that. But where was I? So the reason for this 3.5. Quince can basically play neutral until super. If Midori goes Dragon and it winds up being more of a problem for him than it is for Quince. If Quince has a super, he can react to basically any poke or jump or anything that Dragon can do, and then just mirror super or jump super, usually mirror super, and then Quince locks Midori down with whatever lock turn you want, and then he would punish Midori for a 6 damage combo, like every time, just about. Dragon does help get out of Quince mix-up thing. Like if Quince gets a knockdown, it can save you from a mix-up. So a lot of that is still true. Quince still gets to lock you down. Like if you mess up with Dragon, you're still getting locked down into a punishment, but you're not dying for it. Now you're taking 3 and then mix up after. You're taking 2 to 3 and then mix up after. So when you get block string during Dragon, so it's not you don't lose the entire round. It's still a liability to go Dragon because Quince can literally just invalidate it once. He can react to like basically anything and just take a trade or something and then do a block string that blocks Dragon and then punch it. So, but at least he doesn't die. Quince, I think Midori has superior ground game to Quince though. Especially because he's one of the few characters, non-Dragon Punch characters that gets to react to DD and to a lesser extent forward A with DC, the parry. He can parry that stuff on reaction and max range. So it's also really important for Quince to actually use the fake forward A in this matchup. But I think this matchup is still Quince's. Let me see something. It's not as bad though. It's not nearly as punishing. And also Quince can't turtle as effectively. That's a big thing too. It's not that bad anymore. It could probably be 4.5 because Midori, like I said, Midori's ground game is better than Midori. Although Quince is still kind of it's not the worst losing matchup. And it's barely a losing matchup. Midori Oni, I think this match really sucks for Oni. It's like Oni 3. Yeah. It could be worse than this. The reason why this wasn't worse than 6-4 Midori was because Oni could infinite. he would get a lot of free damage on both Midori, Dragon, and Midori. But now he doesn't get the free damage from the divide and conquer loop anymore. And Midori's ground game superior, same deal. He gets to react to Oni poke with Terry, and that's really important. Like Midori gets to play lane in this matchup, and then he has Dragon. Oni has to respect Dragon. As a matter of fact, Dragon is way better against Oni in this patch than before, because neutral A would beat Dragon jump A really cleanly. It doesn't anymore, and Oni has like terrible options. Like if Dragon gets to jump for free, if Oni doesn't have super, just about. I think I've been doing jump walk under DC more, but I find that I don't get nearly as much of a chance in this matchup as some others. So I think this match is pretty bad for me. It's close to a 7. It's definitely close to a 7. It could be a 7, honestly. What's up? Yeah, I thought this was best advantage before. But I'm not counting out Rook health and damage anymore. Because he has very good pokes that you can just randomly use on Rook. JC variation. Rook has to deal with for jumping. Rook he kind of gets to do what Rook has to do in other matchups to win, like jump and mix up. And he has good even he can break armor from jumping. That's really important. So he can't answer. He has a question how he wants to anti-air her whenever he enters the air. He has really big punishes on him. He has extremely big punishes on him for whipping certain things like command grabs and stuff. But he can't mitigate his OP like at all. and then she doesn't have health, so it's even worse. I think in theory he should be winning this, so I kind of want to leave that with him. 500. So, oh, Big Ray. Yeah, I thought Sesky lost this before. I still think Sesky does. Sesky wasn't strictly losing because of Ghost in neutral necessarily, but he couldn't mitigate. He can't mitigate Big Ray mix-up. He doesn't get to mitigate mix-up in the game. That's the thing. And then he doesn't have it. If I go put on this thing. Them in the air is tough for Sesky. It's tough for Sesky to come out on top on any air interaction, and then Big Ray gets started and whatever. Yeah, I still think Big Ray should be. How much? I don't think those impacted this match that much, so it's still a recruit for. Hello everybody. So, Sesky now. 5-5. This is. So. I think this is. This is an easier match for Val to play than it is Sesky, but neither character can mitigate the others. Well, no, that's not true. Sorry. So. I think both characters are basically equal and neutral. Val gets to mitigate Setsu's Oki. That's the difference. Like that's like the main difference. Slight advantage to Val. I think Setsu's offense is on paper stronger though, honestly, and her punishes are bigger. But it often I don't think it matters that much. I think because Val gets the invalidation, not invalidation, but challenge them. Geiger Setsu, yeah, winning matchup for Setsu before. I don't just haven't seen. It's hard for Geiger to play this matchup really safely. Yeah, Setsu gets she has a lot of ways of just outright punish both the fireballs when reaction. He doesn't, and he can challenge her. He can challenge her offense and her OP, like her neutral offense and her OP with Flash Fury. Yeah, the matchup hasn't really. I still think the dynamics in the same way. Let me see. Slightly lost. I don't know. I don't even feel right saying that he loses to Geiger. I mean, yeah, I don't feel right about this necessarily. I think it's probably even, honestly. Setsu, Lum. Yeah. So he can get around his zoning and setup. Like she can avoid it. So, like she can avoid a lot of things. And then also she has Lum has the take stuff. Lum has a good anti-air and neutral. And he can challenge pressure resets, like the jump speed pressure resets with neutral A. But other than that, like it's kind of tough. I think kind of rough. That's the link he went up. Same reason. Yeah, Setsu Arg. This is one of Arg's harder matchups. She can react to poison, and I think she gets to react to poison in Ballistic with GG or GF. So. Any character that gets to just not worry about that it's like removing a layer of neutral decisions from Argagard. You know? And then her kit's just perfect for fighting zoners in general. Arg doesn't really have Setsu's weakness is like getting OPs, and then Arg doesn't do that at all. So like they both have to play neutral, and then I think Setsu just gets a lot of opportunities to react to stuff and make those. That's not good for him. So yeah, I'll still say that. Setsu's point. This was a really weird matchup before, and I thought she won it before. She definitely wins that. It's probably worse than 6. It could be a 6.5 now, honestly. So Setsu, Quint can't turtle Setsu. It's really, really hard for, like, even before it was hard to turtle with Swim Mirrors against Setsu. You basically couldn't do it. If they were on point, you were getting DG or DS. Now you always get DG for 2 and a knockdown and O2, which he can't mitigate. This could be really bad for Quint's stats, honestly. I think it's the highest. Like she can literally always GB now, like against them. I think like 2-hit GB, not just 1. Sesuke Oni. I thought this was Sesuke advantage before. He gets to break armor, so it's hard. He breaks armor in a lot of different ways too. With both and neutral, he can't. I don't know how reliable NA is in this matchup because I haven't gotten to play it for a while, honestly. But NA's weaker. GC winds up being like useless a lot of the time. It's useful versus certain cross-ups. Which you have to know that they're gonna go for it. It's hard to certain cross-ups, like on wake up, you can actually just GC. You can GC it in certain ways, but on reaction is another thing. GS is hard to place. I feel in a lot of situations in this. It actually often doesn't help once you get started. Bots you can avoid pretty well. She can whiff punish Oni pokes decently well too. Yeah, it's just hard. I think she takes control of neutral in this matchup, and then Oni can't mitigate for Obi. So just two things. Too cool. This could be worse than I thought before, honestly. But the big thing is he Oni does damage when he gets hit, and he takes a lot to die, so it's probably closer. The Rook. I actually played him a good bit last season. This match really sucked before the Gray. But now, there's options. Like, there's options down. I've seen the best Rooks have the really good success recently versus the Gray, and I haven't as the Gray. I still don't feel that bad as it, but you get more. You definitely have more options to defend against Ghost and neutral, Ghost and OP. If they use Ghost and neutral certain ways, you just get the bullet through with armor. Ghost and OP, he can still do them safely. Certain setups he gets to do safely still, but it's not completely mindless. And if he does them safely, then they're usually reactable setups. See, that's a big thing. Oh, only need DA. Okay. I had to think about that. So, no, this matchup's better for Rook than I thought before. This changes. How much better? I don't know exactly. This is definitely one of the. I think my matchups for Rook are definitely more ignorant than the rest, but because I haven't played them nearly as much. I said this is 3 points. Yeah, I really feel that way. And season back then, this was crazy. Probably not as bad anymore. I'll put it as a 4 essentially. Val, Rook. On paper, Rook should be losing this. But it's, no, he has good ways to, make her second guess. And him guessing wrong doesn't lead to much, problem with her guessing and does. So, I think this. Yeah, I think if Val is on point with her, with just not poking predictably, she should be winning this. But it's one mistake can make you lose. She has to take. She gets knocked down and she takes 1 or 2 layers and so. That's pretty huge. So I'm gonna say could be advantage, honestly, like practically speaking. I don't ever feel like I can, like, if it's a really good rook, I never feel safe in this matchup as well. I think in theory he can win this. He wins this. So, no. Geiger, historically bad. Let me see something. The dynamic of this matchup have not changed at all. So I still feel like I never have a problem with them unless I'm like completely autopilot. I'll leave that to game. As rook in this matchup too. If I play as rook in this matchup, like when I use a rook and I fight somebody's Geiger, like a good Geiger, yeah, I feel like it's mostly them screwing up, honestly. So like if they're on point, they can deal with it. Yeah, Lum rook is pretty bad too, like equally probably. Actually no. You know what's crazy about Lum rook? I feel like Lum has even so Lum doesn't have to challenge rook like anti-air wise. He just, I think it's best for Lum to just give up that little bit of space if he tries to approach like from the air. Geiger can anti-air in ways that it doesn't matter how rook comes down for the most part. But Lum, instead of doing that, like he just doesn't. I feel like you don't even need to challenge the anti-air thing like traditionally. I think he mostly wants to just be setting up, and once he doesn't get set up, it's really hard. Yeah. Oh, what's up? Yeah, this is notoriously bad here. It's like, damn. Buffer. I really don't have that much to say. Arg gets multiple layers. Rook has to guess through multiple layers of Arg decisions in neutral. And I think if Arg rivers, it's often just another turn. If Arg gets the river, it's often just like another turn. Not another guaranteed river per se, but like he's putting him. Yeah. How do I put it? If Arg gets the river, like Rook is losing a lot of work. He has to work. He has to work way harder. So. Quince Rook. Quince before he could turtle really hard with mirrors. It's tons better. Any matchup where Quince was winning due to that is definitely not nearly as good. This match is like even, honestly. Now there's got to be. If Quince can somewhat turtle with the mirror, but he's not in as advantageous in a position for just placing one down. Like, yeah, before I would just put a mirror down and just look at how they try to avoid it or kill it or something. He still kind of gets to do that, but not nearly as well. And then like I would just play this matchup to just get super and then react to anything. And well, I would get super, get in the mid range, and just stay around the mid range, like the range where Rook basically can't use any buttons, can't threaten with any buttons, and randomly just check movement. If he jumps, it's just a mindless DF. Nothing you can do about it. That much is still the same. If he gets super, it gets really hard for Rook. the damage when Quince gets a mix-up now is a lot lower. Like, especially when he lands like 2 truths mix-ups, the reward isn't as high. But Quince can't mitigate 2 truths for the most part. Like, almost no character can. Is there a character who really gets to do anything? I actually feel like Arg doesn't have the worst time in versus 2 truths now, but I'll get into that. But he can't mitigate 2 truths stuff. But Quince cannot mitigate Rook, Oki at all. He'll get option selected just for he can get option selected using like trying to get out of like the second layer mix up or even yeah, I think this matchup is like even. Rook can react to Quince, GB, and 4D. So it's another match where it's really important. So I'll talk a little bit more about the Quince versus Midori actually. Let me see something. Sorry, Quince. Yeah. So what did I say about this? I said before I thought it was overwhelmingly. Well, not overwhelmingly. I thought it was markedly bad. Yeah, overwhelmingly. I thought it was overwhelmingly bad for Midori before because Dragon was almost always a liability. Like if you activated Dragon and Quince had super or was close to getting super, then you basically lost that round. But not anymore, and that was a big part of it. Midori can react to Quince hooks on the ground. Midori's ground game is better than Quince's, and Quince can't mitigate his mix-up. So that was 2 things. But Quince, yeah. So that's the 2 things. Midori has a better ground game, and the mix-up. He gets to do stronger mix-up than well, I can't say stronger, but he can't mitigate his mix-up, and Quince's mirror turtling is worse. His reward for getting 2 truths off is worse now, so I still think Midori loses it, but not. It's like negligible, just about. But where was I now? So yeah, I think this is a 5-minute one too. It's actually a hard match for both characters to play. There's definitely lose conditions on both rounds. Like outright lose conditions. Rook versus Oni. Oh, okay. So I know Dr. Zeus is gonna have something to say about this, but I haven't gotten to play his Rook as my Oni that much. But I think Oni can give they can both give each other really hard decisions. Honestly, they really can. Oni can't mitigate Rook Oki that well. Or basically, essentially, he just doesn't get through. I think Oni has great neutral. I think Oni has great neutral options. It's like superior neutral in that matchup. And GS, if he gets GS, Rook is basically it takes away a lot of stuff from Rook. So, but and then if Oni corners Rook, then he can give him some unreactable. He can give him like he can use some I wouldn't call them straight mix-up situations. They're 2-player situations, but he can do some high reward mind games with guard breaks that is hard for Rook to get around. Like he has a straight go. Let me see something. So what did I say about this before? Yeah. The other thing is Oni doesn't get to divide and conquer anymore. That this was made with that in mind too. So this is like even. It's got to be even now, right? At least even. Sure. Let's see. The Gray versus Val. So yeah, the Gray last. So Val's ground game on paper is better than the Gray's, but he has ways to mitigate her mix up. Last Pat's Ghost, he could if he really wanted he could just turtle around Ghost. But she's weak to DB. DB is such a good button in this matchup, at least until she gets super. I overused it last tournament actually. if I was a little smarter about it. And also doing the right option after making them block it. But, so, yeah, his neutral, I think he's slight edge in neutral in this matchup. Before, I think it was like, clear edge because of Ghost. Slight edge in neutral because of DB. He cannot air, like, if it's a neutral situation, or even like, it's hard for her to call out JB on reaction, especially like because of spacing. Like you can do ground B, but you really spacing can change. Spacing changes the timing that you have to use B. If she has super, she can basically always just reaction anti-air GB. She can't air to air it. She actually takes a lot more damage if she tries to air to air it. Counter hit near the corner. She takes 2. Oh, also if she mistimes ground B to anti-air it, she's taking 3. She's definitely taking 3. So everybody knows the Rekka stuff. He gets to challenge Yellows he can't. It's tricky to do it completely on reaction. I haven't practiced it though. But Yellows, he can challenge Yellows with Dandy Step. Whatever it's called, the Dandy Step, GV, and get 2 and a knockdown for it, and usually corner for it. But she can play around that. He can, if people, I don't know anybody that can really differentiate Rainbow and Yellow on reaction. At least, I think it's possible. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I even tried. I haven't played the matchup in a while, but he has the option whether you can differentiate between Yellow or Rainbow. I think that's changes to the. So what did I say about this before? Yeah, I don't feel that bad about upgrading that. It's not a 500. I think the Gray should still be winning that. The Gray Geiger. So this is, I thought this is 5-5 even with Ghost, like old Broken Ghost. The Gray is going to be using GV. I mean, Jump B more in this matchup. Yeah, Jag thinks Rook beats Oni. Alright. I mean, Oni beats Rook. Yeah, I feel like it is Oni's favorite. Or I feel like it could be. Like I said, I used to feel like it was strictly Oni's favorite. But the fact that if somebody takes away from Oni's ability. If somebody takes away from Oni's defense, I feel like that's significant. The Gray, yeah, what was the thing right here? So I thought this was even when Ghost was broken. That was when Ghost was broken. Does strictly using DB against Fireballs make up for no Ghost? I don't completely know. I don't feel like in playing this matchup, I feel like it hasn't been as different, honestly. Maybe I don't feel like it's been that different. I've been using with JB more and getting like similar results. But any time you're in the range to threaten jump or JB stuff on reaction, you're waiting in that range and you can't block for it. So that's always something Geiger's gonna have. I think I have to, like, on principle downgrade that site because the Ghost is such a significant. You got so much use out of it before. You just don't get it anymore. But yeah, Geiger Vanish, Flight Vanish. The Grey Lum. Ghost, he can't clear the field nearly as well anymore. Actually, so Lum gets chances to set up now. That's actually pretty significant. Yeah, Lum gets to play more his game now. That's pretty significant. I think this can wind up being even. Lum has good anti-air for Degray in neutral. And Degray can't deceit and use ghosts to take those away from him anymore as much. So I think there's got to be even. There's got to be even. So the Great Arg, I felt like with Broken Ghost it was sick, but I haven't played this map extensively as the Great in the past. I think so I think you swap out JB, Ghost for JB, like when it comes to Fireball. I think the Grey does get the JB regardless of which Fireball Arg did, whether it's Poison or the normal one, the blue fish. So and even if you don't get the hit, Arg can't back A usually, and you can, depending on your spacing, you will be blocked anyway, even if they blocked it. I don't know. I feel like Broken Ghost made this 6-4 before, so it's gotta be like 5. Honestly, I feel like it's gotta be like 5. Points. So this is Ghost wasn't a problem in this matchup, like at all. It really was not an issue at all. Like it wasn't even like in neutral, it wasn't an issue. On Oki, it always give the Grey stronger Oki versus Clint, but in neutral, Clint didn't really have to worry about it as much. Clint wouldn't really be. I think whenever Ghost is up, well, okay, so Clint really wouldn't be wanting to use back A when Ghost is up. So he would just like walk away or something. That's what I would do anyway. I would like just give them that space. Eventually you can't, but eventually you corner yourself. Clint's being busted in his patch with and still losing this. That's the big deal. Like Clint's just all around. He can't turtle with mirrors as well anymore. His reward on Tutsis isn't this has to be the Great Favor, I think. Because the Ghost doesn't matter that much. I think this is a 6-4 figure 8. The Grey, there's one thing. The Grey could get oh well, it's still possible. He can GB and GS Quint forward A and GB on reaction, like in neutral, and that's really important. And this patch doesn't change that. He still gets to do that. So I think yeah, the Grey wins it in this patch. So the Great Oni, I think before this was really bad. Honestly, the girl was really bad. Now it's not that bad. Oni can give the Great stuff to think, a lot more to think about in neutral. and on offense because he can't do the same OP setups that he got before with the Ghost. Now, if he wants to do the safe ones, they're usually a lot more reactable. Yeah, only being able to he can Ghost he can Degrade not only just doesn't get the Ghost as much, but the Ghost is weaker to armor. Degrade can't parry. He can't reaction super Oni block strings anymore. Yeah, that's super important. He can't reaction super Oni block strings anymore, so he actually has to play more like Oni game if he has to block something. And then there's something else. If Degrade has a one chip on him, it's hard for him to avoid. Like anytime that he does win neutral, Oni can threaten GC and Dark Crush Degrade. So like, I think this is actually not that bad. It's not Oni favored, but like it's slight advantage of Degrade, at least. Oh, hello Emil. I just realized. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat for there. No, I'm gonna play Melty Blood no matter what. But no, he wants me to. He's harassing me. That's all. Let me see. He's just like innocent harassment. Let me see. Valerie Geiger. Huh? I thought I talked about that. No? There's no way I could have talked about this already. Okay, what did I think about this? I thought slight advantage, yeah, Geiger advantage. This match could technically be Valerie advantage, but I think in practice it's really hard. She gets to Rainbow Geiger Firebolt on reaction. But she has to be in the range to use a Rainbow, so she's risking getting poked. Geiger can poke, counter poke with Firebolt or neutral A if she's going like her poke. He can counter. He has good counter pokes against the Ruckus. He can't jump Fireball on reaction without super anyway, and then I question a lot of the time super is not that good because he gets knocked away full string anyway. Once he gets super, he can't Fireball. Like no matter what, like she can be half string away, she gets a walkout super of him for Fireball. That's really important. But other than that, she's just waiting for super if she wants like if she wants her guaranteed like plan to work. Outside of that, she can take a lot of damage trying to get into position to react to Fireball. Like if he's patient and just checks her for being in that space every now and then, it's hard for her to get started. On paper though, because she can react to Fireball with Rainbow, she could if she's good, she could theoretically just bait out forward A's. It's hard to make forward A whiff and still be able to deal with the Fireball, because of how much range you have. It's a half string move, and if you're moving in and out of that range to try and get a whiff punish on forward A, then he can throw Fireballs and you can't do anything. So, but yeah, in theory, it could be either even or winning for Valerie, but it's so hard to put that into practice. So I think this is like the same for. So Valerie. No, this is a 7 before. I think this matchup is tough for Lum. Just superior ground game. Lum has counter throw. Forward A isn't not nearly as good anymore. I've seen her get thrown out of that too, not just the Rekka. so Lung can't throw items without getting Rekka on reaction. Using ball, using blanket ball, EV, it puts him in a disadvantaged position. Like he can counter throw for Rekka if she tries to immediately poke, but she can just poke with forward A instead. Once you're scared of forward A, she can just start Rekkaing again, or just delay Rekka and get you for 2 if you try to counter poke, etc. This game is still alive. Yeah, I would say so. We just had 2 tournaments for it, like one the Vortex Gallery, and then one right after the day after that. They want the $1,000 pot for Vortex Gallery, 600 for that day, the 1v1. So I don't think this match isn't as bad anymore with the Gallery nerf, the 4-day nerf alone. It's hard for Lum to find places to throw items. That's the main thing about this. Her walk speed is way too fast, way too fast for that, and her pokes are just way too good for that. Like for him to like, a lot of the time, if people whiff in other matchups or like you can check their movement with random like pokes or whatever, or and then like you can just go for item tosses, but you don't really get to go for item tosses in this matchup without her having whiff or something. And it's hard for her to make her whiff because it's hard for her not to be in the range where she's gonna where she can't connect. I mean, can connect. 6.5 probably, maybe not a full 7. Okay. Without ARG. I used it. Okay. Val wins it, and I think that alright. She can make ARG lose this matchup really fast, like at the beginning of it, even if she gets if she doesn't win like the round start scramble, she doesn't lose it outright, like getting back in, because she has she can't rainbow on reaction at mid range. Like she has to be pretty close to be able to do that in this matchup. No, actually, she doesn't get the rainbow on reaction. You have to use it on anticipation to get through a fireball. That's really bad for her. But she can GF, so that's why you can't count her out even if she doesn't win like a round start scramble. But it's really punishing for ARG to guess her on in this matchup. Forward A, he can counter poke with forward A. Forward A is godlike, everybody knows. But between her walk speed and just the Rekka range, it's not as big a deal. He gets like as far as like on his defense, it's not as big a deal on his defense. It's just as good as it is in every other utility, like if anti-air, if he tries to rainbow through a fireball, which he can't do on reaction. If he ever tries to reaction rainbow, he's basically getting free neutral A or back A, usually back A or super even. He can poke if he is not at frame disadvantage. If ARG does not have frame advantage, he can poke him pretty liberally. Forward A, ARG forward A, that is often a lot too slow a lot of the time. Like, if ARG didn't make her block something, like, ARG usually has a frame trap or something to be able to use that move in this matchup. So ARG has the Aberray. Like, Aberray Fireball. Like, that's one of the main things. So you ever a fireball, um, to, like, if she does like Rekka, like Rekka, wait, Rekka, you can ever a fireball, back A, but the problem is he has the commit in those situations. So once he starts committing, and then she just waits with punishes, like it's a wrap. It gets really hard. Let me see something. What did I say about this? Yeah, six. I still think it's around 6-4. Wait, no. Uh, yeah, 6-4 her favor at least. Like if she should be winning this, it it can be hard if the Valerie is if the Valerie is trying to react to stuff after she was put at frame disadvantage. Uh, she's usually not gonna win. If she doesn't get if she wins an early scramble, she'll usually win that round. Is what I'm saying. If she doesn't, then she's still not completely counted out. Uh, yeah, she's still not completely counted out because she can still react to fireball. You just don't ever get into the trap of thinking that you can ever do rainbow on reaction against R because you can't. You really can't. I think that's where most people will fail in this matchup. They try to do that. She just needs to be beating him, just grounded Sophie, and then she wins it. Uh, so Quince, this match was, yeah, I thought this was slight advantage to her when Quince was broken, and now it's kind of not good for him. She can get around mirrors way easier now. Not as punishing. It's just a general punishment. Like Two Truths is just not as punishing. Mirror in this matchup, he doesn't get to use it. The only time he gets to use Mirror on reaction is to whiff. He doesn't have any reactable hooks that he can use Mirror against, is what I'm saying. Like, everybody, if they jump, he gets to use it. But not this matchup, no, that's really important. Her ground game's superior. Her defense is superior too. She can always challenge with ground saber and disadvantage and on AD, so like a neutral disadvantage. So yeah. What did I have to say? Yeah, slight advantage? No, that's bad, man. It's not a 6-4. It's gotta be worse than 6-4. So Val Oni. I used to feel like Val won this kind of free, but if they're willing to Evere, he has the health to do it, and he takes so much damage. Like she'll take the damage not only from the DP, like the divide and conquer, but like she has to take his offense for the most part. I mean, she has a reversal super, but the damage trading is Oni favorite. Like if they're going back and forth, Oni's pokes are completely inferior in this matchup. But he has random DP and not get hurt that much for it. Bots, bots are. She actually has to play the bots when they come out. She can't just get around them like ever. Like she can use up the super to make it a safe situation. But she basically, yeah, she has to fight around the bots. So that's always good for Oni if they have to use, like get around those. If they have to play around it. So I said this is Zal advantage. I don't think so anymore. I think it could be. Actually, I think if you play offline and you can punish, you get more opportunity to punish folks. Like 2-3 frames left lag, then I think you can punish You can go for folks that won't be as vulnerable to average DP, because you'll break the armor if you do it early. So that's the thing. If you do Cyan Magenta early enough, you break the armor, and they just take 2, and then the situation your favor still. But I think online, at least, it's valid advantage. But realistically, I'm considering offline only. I'm only considering. So even that said, I think no matter what, you can't react to him doing DP. I mean, his reward is good. So it's like 5/5. It's gotta be like 5/5. You ask me. So Geiger. What did I have to say about this before? I thought this was 5/5 before. It's a hard 5/5 for Geiger if you're not neutralizing the item correctly. If you're not supering, if you're not using jump JS correctly, if you're not using GS correctly, like JS to kind of counteract some of the snowballing that Lum can do when he gets lots of stuff on screen. And then GS to just stop to turn the tables when Lum is trying to do too much mobility when he gets stuff on the screen. Maybe even punishing some of the stuff getting around bomb. If you're not using everything Geiger has, you kind of lose. You just lose the matchup, basically. I think it's way easier for Lum. If Lum gets started, Geiger has to use like all his tools to get around that. It's like even, yeah, even for sure. So Geiger Arg. I think this is pretty easy too, honestly. Geiger has good ways to. He doesn't like nullify the zoning, but he can avoid it in relatively safe ways, and he can give Arg stuff to think about. He can give Arg stuff to think about. River doesn't. So River is River isn't that bad for Geiger to deal with compared to a lot of other Arg matchups, especially the other zoners. GS still completely removes. It removes blue fish, it removes purple fish, and it removes Forte from the equation. So if you really having trouble in that matchup, then you can wait for your super and into initiative from there. But like as a baseline, Arg is out fireballing you. He's out fireballing you, and he's giving you. If you trade fireballs, you lose a turn. Basically, he's usually going to be able to forward AU for trading fireball, unless you did it really early. So you have to be careful about how you trade fireball versus Arg. You can't trade them late, and you can't get greedy about throwing about another one out too soon, or as soon as you can afterwards. But I think other than that, the matchup is pretty even. Geiger. Clint. This is one of the worst matchups in the game. Like, it was tied for like worst matchup in the game in my opinion, next to Oni Arg. So now, Geiger Clint is still really bad. It's not as bad because now you can, if he mirrors, you can kill mirror and then not be at a strict disadvantage for doing so. You can JA it, and then it's back to neutral. A lot of the time anyway. Before if Quinn put out a mirror, anytime you tried to get around the mirror or kill the mirror, he could like punish you on reaction. You can't jump at Quince. Not that you shouldn't even need to be jumping, but it's so bad that you can't, because you can't zone, that you sometimes feel like you need to jump. You can't even jump at him before, because his anti-airs were amazing, are amazing rather. Quint has he still has really good anti-zoning stuff. Geiger, he can punish Geiger Fireball from full screen and get a full meter for it and the combo into a guaranteed 33 mix up. That and then if he's at mid range, he can react at mid range and just get his install with the mirror. He can throw out mirror and just approach behind the mirror like a big mirror and like safely and apply pressure from that. And Geiger really can't do much. GS can punish mirrors even before. It's even easier now. But the main thing is if you kill mirrors early, you're not in nearly as bad situations in this matchup. It's a day and night difference. You just can't let you have to kill them. You have to kill them very early though. The goal is to I think you want to be just getting a life lead and you want to be getting a life lead like early, like getting like as Geiger. I mean, you want to be making sure that Quint can't turtle you basically, because he if you give him too much space to get mirrored out and then he starts getting super, then you just lose all your offense. It's a lot better. It's got to be like instead of a 2.5, 7.5. It's got to be like a 6-4 Geiger. It's got to be now. I still think Quint wins it, but it's not overwhelmingly that anymore. Geiger only. This is a hard match for Geiger to play, but it's not the worst match. Yeah. So even back then, with so this is when Oni had Divide and Conquer. It didn't matter in the Geiger matchup that much. He can deal with it. It's still basically the same. Geiger can safely challenge Oni getting around his stuff. Oni has extremely high reward. Extremely high reward in this matchup if he has good reads with GB, he can get 4 damage on GB. Or if he just gets super, he can react to any projectile you do. Oni has amazing whiff punishes for Geiger. It's way easier for Oni to whiff punish 4 days than a lot of characters. Between Bake is good at it. GS is obviously good at it. It's just the thing is Oni is taking damage getting it. He's gonna take damage getting it. You have to your goal is baiting out the fireball and either it and getting around. Your goal is reacting early to a fireball with something. You got to get into that range and react early to a fireball with something and just make them take a ton of damage. Oni can't. Geiger has good defense against Oni's OP though. Like Oni is still playing turns with him if he gets a knockdown with Geiger. So that's important. But I don't think. Yeah, it's not a big advantage for Geiger, but I think it's there. Still sick. So we're getting to the end of the finally. Alright, so Lum, Arg, what did I say about this? Lum, so I used to think Lum had advantage. I don't remember why, honestly. Like playing this matchup so much, like as on both parts as Lum and as Arg, I think this matchup is kind of hard for Lum. I think the reasoning for this might be is that Lum can use PhD at certain angles as part for Arg to deal with, but that's mostly in the corner. Like realizing it, you only mostly get that in the corner. It's really hard to stop some of those traps that Lum can do. And Lum, the thing about this, Lum Lum has the setup, but Arg usually just destroys everything with a river. Like a river sequence will just destroy all the entire setup. If Lum gets good items really early, he can push Arg to the corner. It gets really hard for Arg to win if Lum gets a good item, especially early. But other than that, Lum is almost strictly losing in neutral. He doesn't have anything to invalidate whatever Arg wants to do. Nothing he can get ignorant with. This is like the inverse. It's gotta be a it's gotta be like 6. Oh wait, I had it. No, 4. Sorry, forgot. It's gonna be 4. Lum Quince. I thought this is yeah. So we used to think that this match was bad for Quince. Even back then, a lot of people thought it was bad. I thought it was good for him back then. Because of, like, while Lum, like, he can... Lum gets to set up in neutral if Quince turtles. And he has great pokes, like counter pokes and counter pokes against Quince. But Quince didn't have to turtle this matchup. If Lum was getting, instead of getting, like, too turtly with the mirrors and stuff, he can challenge Lum going for item tosses or with punishment item tosses. So this was when Quince was broken. So I think mirror is not a factor that much. It really isn't. Yeah, the Oki, he lost mirror Oki in every matchup, obviously. The biggest factor, the reward in 2 truths. So now he lost that. But it wasn't the biggest thing. Quince can get around items very well, actually. He can get around fully set up fields, like, extremely well, even now. The reward on 2 Priests, I think, is not the biggest. The loss reward on 2 Priests isn't the biggest thing. I still think it does a lot. It does a lot for him still. And this matchup, I think it does. In some matchups, it's a big difference because he used to get even more off of it. I mean, he used to get so much off of it, like with Dragon, he would get like 6 every time. But now, I think tentatively, this matchup feels pretty even, honestly. Like, I don't know. On principle, this should be lower than what it is. Like, it should be more. I think because of the nerfs, like the nerfs were significant, but it's not. And the way you play the matchup, it doesn't impact that much. So I think this is even for Fight Fun. Lum only. Yeah, this is part backer only. Lum can set up in this matchup, that's a problem. Oni can't just, like, get rid of the field. But there's weird situations where if Lum tries to extend too much, Oni gets a huge reward. Like, if Lum uses ground super in the wrong way, he uses air super in the wrong way, he uses millions in the wrong way. If he gets a bad bomb, he's getting guard broken by he's getting guard broken. Like there's lose conditions. Lum doesn't get to play this match the way he normally plays it, but he gets chances to get a field up. It's a very interesting match actually. Like there's a lot to it that Oni can be applying here. So, I said this was Lum advantage before. I don't think so. I'm gonna leave that at 5. I think as this match gets, as people get better, this matchup is gonna get worse for Lum. But also, Lum can play safe. Lum can apply a lot of safe strats, but there's a lot of stuff he doesn't get to do that he gets to do in other matchups. So Arg is Arg. Quince, Arg. I thought this was slight advantage to Quince before. Not slight advantage, but I thought it was advantage Quince. Quince could turtle Arg. He can avoid everything. Yeah, he could avoid stuff well. Arg has Bubble Super, and Big Fish Super, and he can defend against Super somewhat, like better than most characters. Between those two things, it's even more exacerbated now, I think, because the reward isn't as big, and mirrors are worse. Arg can do way more about mirrors now, so that's kind of significant. So as Quince, I still don't feel it like pressured against Arg, but also at the same time as Arg, I feel like it's winnable. Like it's not that even though it's winnable. I feel like this match is even. There's gotta be even. So, Arg Oni. This is a notorious matchup. I'm leaving that the same because that's messed up. I think like with extremely solid play, it gets slightly better, but not by much. It gets like this is I put it wrong number, sorry. 2.5. That's close to an E2 on this. There's so many lose conditions for Arg, and there's basically no win conditions for Arg. Arg, yeah. Oni takes so much damage, and then Arg, things get really bad for Arg really quick if Oni gets a knockdown or a good trade or something. It's hard for Arg to mitigate Oni. Oni's neutral here. Oni gets, even though his neutral on paper is technically not overwhelming a character like this. There's certain things that I guess kind of do. JB, it's hard for Arg to do anything about JB if they're spacing it well. And then Oni, GB is really good at certain ranges. JC is crazy good in this matchup for some reason. He can threaten random guard crushes. He can always threaten guard crushes versus Oni. I mean Arg, and it's hard to deal with. It's extremely hard to deal with. Bubble doesn't help that much. It'll get him off. It can get him off. It can get Oni off sometimes, but you're taking 1 out of 7 life, and then Oni gets a ton more chances to get in. Oni actually deals with neutral zoning well. Between parry, somewhat. It can be dangerous to try and punish. Well, I can't. It's not the worst. Actually, you should be punishing random Oni parries. That's not the main thing. It's dangerous for Arg, especially when Oni gets super. It's really dangerous. Like ground super. That's one of the biggest things in this matchup. Oni ground supers Arg, and then he threatens a guard crush mind game. He corners you, threatens a guard crush mind game. There's a lot of ways to lose that matchup. So last on the list, Quince versus Oni. My thoughts on this: Quince got Turtle pretty well against Oni. Not anymore. Oni can kill. Every character can kill mirrors in neutral more reliably, and then the reward that Quince gets when he lands GS is lower. I said this all night. Like that's the main thing. That reward is lower and pretty significant. Oni. So Quince has superior ground game. Technically, he would if Oni didn't have Oni can GC and GS all the Quince's ground pokes once. Well, he can GC GB on reaction, but depending on when you do GC, Quince can do the feint from GB and punish it. Sometimes it depends, but GS. Oni can basically always GS that move on reaction, or forward A on reaction, even the fake version. Oni has to take 2 creeps. It's hard for he can't mitigate it. That's pretty significant. GS is also a really big bane to Oni too. Like there's so many situations where Quince gets the GS Oni for like moving or pressing anything a lot of times. So, but this is season 7, and I thought it was a slight advantage to Oni. I mean, to Quint, because when Quint was broken. So I don't think so anymore. It's got to be. I think this match, if Oni's playing on point, he can make it really hard for Quint initially. And the turtle capabilities are just nerfed with Quint, so but GS is a big deal. I guess if I want to consider this like even right now. For now anyway. I think if Oni can deal Oni loses like all his buttons if Quint gets GS. But I think the same can be said for when Oni gets it. But Quint just gets it more. So I don't know. I think this is even. So. Alright. So I think that's it for now, right? That's everybody. So like let's look at the results here. So right now, like comparing to season 7, we went from broken Quint with crazy matchups across the board, just for sets. In my opinion, sets and Val back then. Now he's like average now, pretty average matchup wise, like around Arg. Arg, I thought before was pretty bad, but I thought, well, it was like he was bad. He had a lot of problem matchups and some good ones. But now, I think he's a lot more well-rounded than I realized before. Same for Lum, and Oni. Such huge differences. I have a huge, very different outlook on these characters. Like playing them for the past 8 years. So, the Gray's slightly worse. Like, effectively anyway, if you ask me. Valerie, yeah, I think I think my outlook on Valerie is slightly worse on certain matchups. Gray's about the same. Jaina is about the same. Midori about the same. Setsuki is about the same. A little better, honestly. She's just underused. She's like super underused. And she's still one of the best characters, honestly. Rook. Damn. So yeah, I think my impressions on Rook. Yeah, so I feel like I think if you're playing Lane, then Rook has a real problem. Let me see. But this was before. This was season 7. If you're playing Lane, Rook has a real problem. But he can give people hard questions. He can like give people hard challenges. Like if he gives them the range to just jump at a lot of characters, they don't always have a clear cut answer. Like sometimes they have to, like if they don't. He can give challenges that just don't have clear cut answers to them necessarily, and then he snowballs off of it. But he has problems getting into the situations that we can with. Yeah, I think that's it. Like my biggest change in perspective was on Argadorg. I think he's like super good. Like according to this, I think so if you were to like make a tier list from this, it would be like Geiger, the Gray, Setsuki, like top tier, and then literally every other character except Rook in mid tier, and then Rook low tier. Jaina, sorry. Geiger, the Green, Geiger, the Gray, Jaina, Zhao, top tier. Oh, and Setsuki, sorry. So those 5 would be like the top tier, and then everybody else mid tier, and then only rook I would say has like the biggest problems right now. Honestly, the game is pretty balanced at the moment. I think I would I think it's time to make some adjustments, like for sure, like because I don't think I'm not the only one coming with some of these conclusions. I wonder what everyone has to think. Maybe he sees this. Maybe he might disagree. He might agree with some of it. I think some of our at least the rationale for my characters that I specialize on like is this. All right, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I am gonna be streaming again regularly. I'm probably gonna stream Fantasy Strike ranked. I'm gonna play a lot of well, not a lot of Strike. I'm gonna do 20 tries. Probably get some multi-blood. Yeah. Alright, thanks for tuning in. This will be up on YouTube if anybody wants to see it again, so thank you. Oh, you know, I should hit somebody with a read. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I know. How did that work? Are you streaming? I have no idea. No, she's not streaming. Let me see if anybody's streaming Fantasy Strike. I'm the only one. Maximilian plays. He's playing Nick. Oh yeah, I'm gonna drop the link for this in chat. Cancel. Alright.